I'm joined now by Nick Shave, Chair of UKspace. So Nick, why does space have such a big impact on our lives?
Space has a really big impact on all of our lives. There's systems like the Global Positioning System, which is a network of satellites in orbit that provide positioning and timing, accurate timing for many users on Earth. There's actually 6 billion users of GPS. It's probably the most used system that mankind has ever created. So that's the sort of system. There's also transportation networks, logistics. Global trade is enabled by space. Our shipping network globally, 150,000 ships, all use satellite communications and navigation. They wouldn't be able to move that trade if space wasn't there. And then there's weather forecasting. We all rely on our weather forecast, right, every day. And climate monitoring, which is a very important growing area, obviously, the space sector. Many variables for climate can only be measured from space.
This year is set to be groundbreaking for the UK space sector. Can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, I'd say for two main reasons. I think last year we saw the launch of the National Space Strategy by the UK government, and this year we're seeing the implementation of that. We've seen a number of different aspects, a number of new missions being designed, and an important investment to be made in the European Space Agency later this year. The second point, I'd say, which really will capture the public's imagination, is the first launch from UK soil. So we're going to see a rocket launched in the next couple of months, which will go up into orbit and deploy a number of UK-built satellites, including satellites that are built in Wales, for example, the first Welsh satellite to be launched.
So why would you say that space is such a great career? And what would you say to anyone thinking about working in the sector?
I'd say that the space sector requires many different types of disciplines and skills, all the way from engineering, as you can imagine, science, and computer science in particular. Software and automation is becoming much more important. One growth area for the UK is in-orbit manufacturing. Now that sounds very futuristic, but it's coming, and by 2030 we believe it will be routine. So we'll have space servicing, we'll have debris removal as well, because we need to solve that problem, the problem of space junk. We need to treat the space environment a bit like we're treating the Earth environment in terms of climate change. So there's 10,000 tons of debris in orbit, and we need to clean that up. And then we can do manufacturing in space. So that's a really exciting area. So many different areas of the sector that people can look forward to working in.
And I suppose the legalisation of space, the ethical questions, these are challenges we need to face in the future.
Exactly, yeah. Space is a global commons, and I think we're probably in a similar period now as the aviation sector were in around the turn of the century, the last century, 1910, 1920. And space doesn't have boundaries. That's a really tricky issue that we need to deal with. There's no geographical or political boundaries really in space. So we need an international approach to regulation so that we can create the right environment and people can launch correctly and do things in space, as I've explained.
So how is UKspace supporting its members?
UKspace is a trade association, and we support our members in a number of ways. In particular, we promote the sector. We provide a common voice into government and other important players in the sector, like the European Space Agency or international partners in the US, in Japan, and other places. So we really promote the sector. We also work closely with a number of small and medium-sized enterprises in the UK and help them grow. Provide support to them through marketing initiatives or other aspects, and connect them with other companies in the sector so they can become part of their supply chain and grow together. So we're there to really grow the space industry as the government wants to.
So Nick, what does the future of space look like to you?
I believe it's very bright. There's so many different growing areas of space. I think the UK has an opportunity now to lead globally in a few areas. Big rockets is a challenge in areas, but smaller rockets that we're planning to launch from the UK, there's a big market for that. So we look forward to that. But as I've mentioned, there's other sectors like in-orbit manufacturing and servicing, which no one's really taken a lead in yet. So the UK has an opportunity to step into that and lead the world. So I'm really focused on finding those areas of the space sector that we can lead and go out and take that forward. So The world's our oyster.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Nick. It's an exciting time.
Thank you very much, Maggie.